too on Netflix.
Yeah, I love his comedy.
Yeah.
I love his comedy too. I feel like every podcast, it always like we always mention Joe Rogan or something because I feel like he's like the baseline of like good podcasts.
Yes,
You know, like he's the only reason I have this. Like this is the only like he's like the main inspiration for.
That's so cool.
For doing this, but
I hope
yeah.
you meet him. That's so cool.
Yeah, I saw him in Philly. Like I saw
Okay.
him like I went to see him live for the comedy, and
That's cool.
It was sweet. It was awesome. It was hilarious. But people in Philly are so rowdy. Like they're just crazy. People like they were just like yelling and stuff. But it was awesome. He was like yelling back at him and like put the guy in the spot, gave him the microphone. The guy choked up and like couldn't. Yeah, it was
That's funny.
Classic Joe Rogan. But all right, Gabby, thanks for coming on the BOPCAST. I appreciate it. I think this is like episode 14 or I never know the episode, but so yeah, thanks for coming on. You messaged me originally, I guess, and you talked to our mutual friend Danny that we talked about, and so I was interested because you have your own business, and this is like half the point of this podcast is just get people on who are young who are also pursuing their things and kind of like doing something different, so. If you could maybe just like go into how you got into what you're doing now and like maybe a little bit like about yourself.
Sure. So basically like the whole joke is that when my mom was pregnant, she like could not stop eating ice cream. So I kind of came out of the womb like an ice cream addict. So
automatically.
Yeah. So I've always loved ice cream. And I'd say about junior year in high school or maybe senior year, I realized I really didn't want to work for anybody. And I knew that I was either going to have to be at the top of a company or I was going to have to do my own thing. And the big thing was go to college. So I did. I went to URI. But back to senior year, I knew then that I was like, I'm going to open an ice cream shop. Like, that sounds
It just
sweet.
felt right.
Yeah, I was like, that just sounds awesome. Like, I'm going to do that. So the whole plan was to go to college, get my degree in teaching, and then sometime down the road when I had kids and whatever else, like older kids, I would open my own business in the summers and teach during the school year. So that sounded great. So I went to URI and I hated it. I came home. I took the spring semester off. It just wasn't my type of place.
It just wasn't for you.
No, I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't like it there. I didn't feel at home. So I came home and I worked and I worked like 4 jobs. I would be working like 8 shifts in 6 days, like just trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do. Yeah.
Grinding.
Yeah, it was nuts. So, I mean, at that point I was like, I'm going to be a teacher. And I did all summer classes, like all last summer. And I went through the fall semester and then halfway through the spring semester around my birthday, I was with my parents and we passed a food truck and we thought it was for sale. And my mom was like, why don't you open an ice cream truck? And I was like, okay. So a week later, I registered a business.
LLC, I assume, or is it?
Yeah, it's an LLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I registered. It took us a week to come up with the name. My sister actually came up with it. She goes, "What about Scoops on Wheels?" And I was like, "That is it." So I just went for it. I registered the business, and everything just kind of fell into place. There are definitely some bumps in the road. So I'm 20. So opening a business when you're 20, like, nobody wants to give you a loan. So I actually got denied 5 business loans. And I was like, okay, all I need is this truck. Everything else I can figure out. I just need the truck. And most trucks were like pretty expensive, like $20,000. And I didn't have that laying around. I mean, I literally had no money.
Most 20-year-olds don't.
Yeah. Like,
most 20-year-olds don't have $20.
No, they don't. And I like didn't even have $1,000 in my savings account. I was like, what the heck am I going to do? So I found this website and I was like, all right. They have a financing program for a truck. If I don't get this, I'm not opening this business. Like, I'm just going to push this off to later in life. Like, clearly it's not supposed to happen right now. So on a Monday night, I got the news that I didn't get the financing plan. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way that I'm not opening this business. So I went back on Craigslist and I was following this truck for like weeks at this point. And it was listed for $12,000. And that night it had dropped $5,000. So the next day, I went to Bayshore, Long Island, and I bought it, and I got it by Friday, and then everything's just, like, went up from there. So it was absolutely crazy, like, the way it happened, because it's one of those stories that's, like, it's not going to happen. And
you
just
don't
check.
expect that.
No, you don't.
And nobody else expected it, I guess, either.
No. And, trying to tell people, because at that point, by the time I got the truck, I had a registered business for over a month. Mm-hmm. Like, at this point, it was probably like mid-May. So I had a registered business for a while. And when you like don't have the truck and people are like, oh, you own an ice cream business, because technically you do. Mm-hmm. And people are like, okay, like,
where?
Yeah, like, this girl's a joke. Like what, you don't have a truck yet? And they'd be like, when's your truck coming? I'm like, well, I'm still looking for one. I'm still like applying for loans. And then one day it just kind of like appeared in my driveway, and everybody was like, holy crap, like, she's serious.
So that was like that like made it real.
Yeah, it was like all of a sudden. I mean, I remember just like, so when I got the truck, it was like white and purple and had stickers all over it, and everybody's was kind of like...
Was it an ice cream truck or what?
It was an ice cream truck, so it came with a freezer and everything.
Okay, I was going to ask you that, like, the logistics of having, like, don't you need freezers and power?
Yeah, so it came with a freezer, which was, like, amazing, because that saved me, a lot of time, a lot of money.
Sure.
But this thing looked like a piece of garbage, honestly. Like, ice cream trucks kind of have that, like, sketchy vibe, like, like selling like crack at the back of it, like whatever.
100%.
Yeah, so that's what
so many.
Yeah, that's what this one looked like. And I was like, everybody was kind of coming and looking at it like, oh, it's so nice. But in my head, like, it didn't look like that. Like, I already saw like what it was supposed to look like, and I got it wrapped and everything, and it's pink.
So it's wrapped?
Yeah, it's wrapped.
That's awesome.
And the wood on the bottom.
So worth it.
Yeah.
To wrap. Yeah.
Yeah, and it came out amazing, and the wood on the bottom is also wrap, and most people have like, they have to go up and feel it to know that it's a wrap, because it looks so good. And when I got it after it was wrapped, I just cried. I was like, this is amazing. It's like my first child, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm a huge car person. Like, I was a mechanic for 3 years, and I love I've had so many cars and motorcycles and dirt bikes and everything, so I completely understand. Like, for me, like, certain, like, this one Volkswagen I had was like, that was my baby,
Yeah,
that's like it's something. It's not a car for you. Like, it's not a truck for you.
No.
It's something else. It's another branch of like you somehow.
Yeah.
Like, non-car or people that don't get, they're just like, no, it's just like gets me A to B. That's it.
Yeah.
Case closed. But for us, it's different. But especially for you, because now you can build your livelihood off of it.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun, because there's definitely been like some struggles with it, but I basically get to like choose my own everything, and I don't think that I was made to be like somebody who works for somebody else,
or just like in a cubicle.
No, like, I love being a leader. Like, I love being in charge of things, so I definitely wasn't supposed to be somebody who works for somebody else, because I can't stand it. I mean, I was a manager of a frozen yogurt shop for about a year. I worked there for 2 years, and even then I was like, oh my god, like, there's just so much.
This is just not it.
Yeah, like, I just can't work. I mean, the way I was talking to somebody about this the other day, like, when you work for other people, like, you make X, and then that's all you make, regardless of...
You trade your time for money, too.
Yeah, regardless of what you do that day, you make X. Now, I make however much money I want to make, and I push myself to make.
And the more you work, the more money that you make.
Exactly. Yeah. And some days, or some weeks, it's... that does go against me, and it hurts, because some days it's like, well, I could be making X, but instead I'm making nothing, because I'm trying to figure out how to make something. But then there's other weeks where I'm like, damn, like, I could have only made $100 this week, and instead I am coming out with 300 and stuff like that.
Yeah, you control it. It's all you.
Yeah.
But then the responsibility's all you too.
Yeah.
Right? Is the thing, like, the truck gets a flat tire or something, like,
you gotta pay for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's out of pocket right then.
Yep. So, and that's something I've learned too. A lot of things that happen is stuff that you could have never predicted. Like, there's, I'm trying to think of an example of things that, like, so I do parties, and when you start off like this type of business, you don't want people to think that you're ripping them off because you're a brand new business. So you kind of like spread yourself thin, and I have like a tally counter, so I'd be going to parties and they'd be like, oh, like, we're gonna have 100 people here. So I'd go and I'd expect to make money for 100 people, and then 30 people would get ice cream. But my policy was that I just keep track with the tally counter, and however many people get ice cream is what I charge you for. So I could have never predicted that was going to happen. So, like, already, I mean, I'm only 3 months into the business, or not even, because I can't even register for, like, the Food Truck Association because I'm like too soon in the business.
You're too new. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so like I mean even 3 months in I'm like changing policies and stuff and realizing like okay, I have to have like a guaranteed number. I have to have a cancellation policy because then I had somebody cancel like 2 days before a party and I'm like, all right, that can't happen either because you know, I was like denying other people stuff for that. So
deposit is mandatory.
Yeah,
especially at least for like DJing. That's really the only business that I can relate it to. Of like me and my friend had our own little DJ business, and like there was people that canceled on us. There's like you said, 2 days before, and we just didn't know the business side.
Yeah,
like we could DJ, okay, like we weren't great, but especially the business we didn't know.
Yeah, and you just don't like it's just not. And that's like the coolest part about like having your own business is like
learning that.
Yeah, you learn so much so quick, and it's just like, okay, like now I know, and you move on because there's nothing you could do about the past and everything. So you just keep moving forward. And I've met some of like the most amazing people, and it kind of like I just think about it, and I'm like, wow, like the people I'm meeting are people like I've lived in the same town for 20 years, so it's like. All of a sudden I own a business and I'm meeting people who have also lived here my entire life. And it's just amazing that I'm making these connections and I'm just like I hate that I didn't know you my whole life.
Yeah, like, you would have never known. You would have never been in that position.
Yeah, and it's some of the nicest people ever. Like the guy who he wraps my truck and everything, his business is called 189 Designs. His name's Chris.
Oh, he's done a lot of cars I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
He is the most amazing person ever. Like I love talking to him about business stuff. He also started a business when he was young, and he's like a really big inspiration to me. And I love like running ideas by him and stuff.
It's
and
great to be around those people too.
Yes.
Like, just around their like mindset, you know, just like kind of take like, all right, this is how this guy thinks. Like this is why he made this. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like the work he does is incredible, and he like I've gone to him like multiple times like. I can't do it. I'm a failure. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, take a deep breath. Like, you got this. So he's kind of like a mentor to me, and he's just really, really cool. And and he's lived in this town too.
Shout out to him. Shout out to 189 Designs. Maybe I'll talk to him. Maybe we could get him on too.
Yeah, you should, because he's great. And I would have never met him, and he's lived in the same town I have too, like his whole life. So it's just, I feel really blessed at this point in my business that I've made the connections I've made, and it's only been 3 months. I just keep saying, like, it's literally only been 3 months. My grand opening was June 8th. That's crazy
to me, too, that, like, you've had this. And you're, like, if you look at your socials and everything, too, it's, like, it looks like you've been in business for like 2 or 3 years. You know?
Yeah, I focus a lot on social media. Like, social media.
Good, we should go into that, too. I think that's huge.
Yeah, because it, like, literally is my business is social media. I mean, I've been growing, like, crazy on social media, and I think at this point, like if you have a business, like social media is the most important
if you're not
thing.
on it, you lost.
Yeah,
like you're losing.
I mean, it's free
because everybody else is on it.
Yeah, and it's free. It's absolutely free. And like, I mean, obviously, like quality of pictures and like content quality is really, really important. And you know, like I personally think that like having a theme is like
brand image.
Yeah,
huge. Branding is big.
Yeah,
especially now that I actually talked to somebody. He's in like Forbes, like 30 under 30. Like he's a huge marketing guy. His name's Anthony Giordano. You could like find him on LinkedIn. He's like really good dude. And I did a podcast with him for a company that I work for. And he was saying now like branding used to be like 20% of marketing, and now it's like 50%.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of just the sheer amount of brands and like companies that there are, you have to stand out now. Because there was like just a lot less companies before, and like you just didn't need to care about it. Like you were just a local business, you know, and people just go to you because you're convenient. Now you have to stand out, because I bet there's other ice cream trucks.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, I'm the only one who does hard ice cream in the area, so I have that going for me. And I'm also like one of the only ones that does a lot of parties.
Do you like the parties, like rather than like what's the other option is just like rolling into places, or like how does that work?
So it's kind of tough with the permits and everything. Most towns don't let you just drive around anymore. I think it's mostly because of like how big food trucks are. Like if they're letting ice cream trucks just roam around, like they also have to let like, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I guess I get the.
Yeah, and you know that takes away from like restaurants and stuff.
Also, sometimes towns that are, you know, they just don't want like noises and people
Yeah.
driving trucks around like.
And like kids running out into the street. And
That's
like,
it too. Especially
yeah.
here, like people do 60 miles an hour on my road. It's like a 35. Like,
yeah, same with mine.
Yeah, I mean you couldn't feasibly have an ice cream truck on this road. You
No,
just couldn't,
yeah.
right? Like a lot of roads. So.
Yeah, and it's you know, you got around it because if somebody invites you onto their private property, the town can't say no. Like, you don't even need a permit for that. So I do mostly either like local businesses will be like, hey, like come park at my place, or like I'll ask them and they'll be cool with that and we'll advertise it, or we'll go to parties. I do a lot of events, like bigger events. I did the Corn Beer and Tomato Fest in Flemington this past week.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm so pissed that I didn't go. I think I was working that day, but yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was like 10,000 people
wow,
there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, next year I'm there.
Yeah, they said it keeps getting bigger.
I'm trying
like,
to
every
DJ
single
there
year.
next year or something, or perform or something.
Yeah, they had like 3 or 4 bands at the same time, but they spaced it out perfectly. So like you couldn't hear, like if you were listening to one, you could not hear any of the others.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'm gonna go into some local shit right now. Flemington, like you got it. Like you're getting there. Like whoever runs Flemington, like just do more of that shit, please, because Flemington has nothing for kids our age, like for people even 21, 22, 23, whatever. So whoever runs Flemington, send this to them, because like keep doing stuff like that, because that's what's gonna get us there. Like I have no reason to go. I get a haircut there, but then I leave and go back home. So people. That's my little Flemington rant.
So I went to Hunterdon Central.
Okay,
so I'm like Flemington is
you
my
know
home.
Even more,
yeah.
And I'm out here, and I still like we would go to Flemington to go to things because we have nothing here.
Yeah,
so,
but there's like nothing to go to.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Buffalo Wild Wings is it.
Yeah.
That's it. And the corporate. Like let's get like a local.
Yeah, we definitely need more in Flemington, and I'd love to do more stuff in Flemington. That's one of the places that I can't just drive around.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done a lot of parties there, and we always have a lot of fun. And
people are good there.
Yeah, they are, and I love it. It's like my second home. Mm-hmm. Like I live in White House, but Flemington is like if you live in White House, you just tell people you live in Flemington.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because nobody knows what White House is.
I live here. I live like 25 miles from Flemington probably, and I tell people like sometimes I tell people I live in Flemington because it's just like there's nothing.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Especially like this is on some really local shit, but like if you're out here in Jersey, people don't understand that you exist. Like they don't get it.
Yeah.
But back to your like you're saying, like driving around and like doing the parties. So you probably get a good amount of like referrals from parties, right?
I do. So just about every party I go to, I get like, I don't know, depends on the party. I could get like 3 to 10 more parties out of it.
Wow.
So it's like doing parties is like advertising on its own.
That's marketing, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Your truck is marketing, is a big rolling marketing machine.
Yeah, I mean it's bright pink, you can't miss it. I mean I do something called Chops at the Farm in White House on 22. Mm-hmm. And it's like a new building, and it's beautiful, and things are still going up there.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
The big white ones?
The big white new one, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just gorgeous, and the owners are the sweetest people ever.
That's great.
So I actually reached out to them, and I was like, it was so late, and they were like, we'd love to have you, and they were so welcoming and so open to me joining the market. So this Saturday is actually my last Saturday there, but I go there during the week too. And people will be like driving down 22 and they won't stop, but they'll like scream out the windows like ice cream. Like it's nuts. Wow. So yeah, it's really funny. It's great to be there because it's like literally on 22.
It's like right in the center, like so many people going by and everything too.
Yeah,
so people just walking around.
Yeah, and I love it there. I found some of the best places. I go to I've been to Harley Davidson in Lebanon once so far, and that was really fun.
Oh, I saw the picture of that. There's like the truck, and then just like 6 biker dudes like just like with the leather and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome. Like, you don't have like a niche market, like, because it's ice cream, which is amazing. Like, that's like a huge portion of it, I feel like, or like a really good part about it.
And that's you can literally market.
Get it together,
Yeah, you can market ice cream to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can find I can find a reason for every single person to have ice cream. Like, it's never too early. It's never too late.
My grandfather would after you basically like retired and stuff, like he would just hang out in the basement and like he would just he traded stocks and he ate ice cream. Like that was
that's the way to live.
Like my dad would come in or something. He would be like, as long as I got ice cream, I'm good. Like that's just it. Like
there's like no reason why people shouldn't be eating ice cream. Exactly. Like it's just and there's this one quote. Steve Jobs actually said it, and I've been like living by this because it was funny because I read the quote after I opened the business, but it was like, if you want to make people happy, don't be a leader, sell ice cream. And it's cool because I'm
Wow,
doing both.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of the first things I posted. It was one of my first captions was like that
Wow,
quote.
it's probably true though that ice cream makes people as happy as like a good leader.
Yeah.
But you are doing both, like for sure.
Yeah, and that's what's really cool because I didn't want to open a business that like I didn't really want to open something that people necessarily like needed, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And, like everybody needs ice cream, but it's more of a want. And like
Yeah,
people
it
like
is 100, yeah.
yeah,
I
and
agree.
people are open to like taking pictures and like smiling and like they're open to trying all these flavors and they're open to the conversation because it's not like, you know, come buy this generator from me. It's like you chose to come here to buy ice cream, like let's have a conversation. And people are just really cool about it. And I mean, I always have some people who are like, oh, it's too early for ice cream. Like, come on, man, it's never too early for ice cream.
That's just a perspective thing. Like,
Yeah.
You just got a tainted perspective on ice cream. Like that's a self-limiting belief of ice cream.
I
right
know,
there.
I know.
And you got to break that.
Yeah, if
So
it's
that's when
always
your
5
sales
o'clock.
comes in and you're like, all right, listen, but we got these flavors and then
Yeah, I always say we got coffee fudge.
see that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. That's my any type of coffee, anything. I'm there.
Yeah.
Huge coffee guy.
When my
Massive.
dad watches this, he's gonna roll his eyes at me because that's his favorite flavor, and I didn't have it for like the longest time, so I'm just bringing it back now. Once we get rid of another flavor,
Nice.
so I know when he watches this, he's gonna be like, "You don't even have it right now," but it's in the freezer, like it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the best part about like the ice cream is that you get to like try out all these flavors, and you get to be like as creative as you want. So right now I don't buy my own ice cream, or I don't make my own ice cream. I buy from Welsh Farms and Kemp's.
Okay.
And I want to start making my own ice cream like next year. I want to start doing it like tomorrow, but you know, you gotta save
but, like,
for that.
logistics,
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna go with like a co-packer and just, you know, they would make it, but it would be my ice cream, and I just want to make like the most creative flavors ever, like things that people are like,
So you're
what
trying.
the hell?
So that's the vision.
Yeah. My vision is to like make my own ice cream, have like a shop, have a bunch of trucks. I really want to take it down the East Coast. Like I really want this to like be something big. Like
I think it easily could too because I don't think there's. I mean, you go to like a beach town and there's like one company, but they just do the same thing every year. You know?
Yeah.
And they have the same trucks and they don't like they just all look exactly the same. They have all those stickers on the side with all the that they got from Restaurant Depot and like or whatever. And yeah, so I think that's definitely a good idea because you're gonna take what's gonna sell it is like the uniqueness of the business, how it's not just like a regular ice cream truck.
yeah, it's like literally hard ice cream. It's an ice cream shop that like goes to
That
you.
rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only reason I really want to shop is one, it would be nice to like have a stationary place where people always know where I
Established
am.
location.
Yes, like
Hours. Yeah.
yes, like people would always know that we're there. They'd know when we're open. And there's a lot more I mean, there's a lot of opportunity with a truck, but there's things you can do in a store. Like I can make cakes. I can make my own ice cream from the store.
Yeah, ice cream cakes.
Yeah, we can host parties like at the place. Like there's a lot of different
Yeah.
things that you can do in a store that you can't do in a truck, but the same goes the other way.
100%.
Because
Yeah.
so
Whatever you do, it's got its own set of pros and cons, right? So
yeah.
sticking with just the truck is like there's a lot of overhead that you're not worrying about as you know if you have
Yeah,
an established
yeah.
location. Yeah, but that's good that you're like trying to plan it and like you're getting to where you're gonna be.
Yeah, and I
You're
knew
not stopping with this. This is just this is like 3 months in, you have an established business. Like I've seen DJs that have been DJs for 7 years and have 100 likes on Facebook, you know, like and you have like 500 already. So
yeah, well, that's like back to the social media thing. It's like you gotta push, and I try to do like a lot of challenges or like tag your friends or you know you do a
That's
lot of
always
like
huge.
call to action.
That's
Like when
it.
you call to action, like people do it, and it's also a lot of word of mouth. I mean, when people are at my truck, I'm like follow. Like, how'd you hear about us? Okay, follow my Instagram because you'll hear more. Like
Yep.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it really pushes people to like do it. And then I have people commenting, and a lot of people have been telling me like, because I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and the reason I did that is because you know you have like different age groups.
And people have in a different mindset on either
Yes.
whatever platform you're on. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm learning now is that I can't be posting like the exact same thing to Facebook. Like I could post the same picture, but it's got to have like different content to it because of like the different age groups and
different
stuff.
graphics or text or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and I'm learning that now because it's a lot to learn. So I'm starting that, but a lot of people who are on Facebook like have Instagram. Like I think we think of Instagram as like for younger people, but I have like a lot of
my mom's
adults
on Facebook or on Instagram.
Yeah, so are my parents, and it's like a lot of older people are like on Instagram. And
well, it's connected really now.
Yeah, it is the same.
You know, it's because Facebook owns it, so it's
yeah.
It's true.
So I mean, I've had a lot of success with both. The best part about Facebook is that people can message me like straight from there.
Yeah, and, I saw it and it just pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, and I try to answer like
we always have businesses do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge. We even have like chat bots for businesses too that'll like send people a DM if they follow you.
Okay,
and then it asks them a question like, how'd you find us? Thank you for the follow. How'd you find us? And then that establishes the conversation. And then you come in and go, hey, like, or they answer, and then you come in like as a real person. And so like that's all, like that connection is massive. It makes such a big difference.
It does, because people want to talk to you. And the other thing is that like people want to find you. Like they want to feel like they found you. They don't want you to find them. So like if they follow you, I mean, like you kind of have to think about like when you're scrolling through Instagram, like how many ads do you click on? Like you go to the places that you find yourself. So that's like when I'm doing all my social media stuff, that's kind of what I think about. Like, you know, like if I'm not like, I've spent enough time on social media to know that like what I do and don't like as like a viewer, like I don't want to see like a business like spamming my account, but I'm also not going to keep like remembering the business if they're not posting like multiple times every day. Yeah. So you don't want to post like 7 times, but you gotta like space it out.
There's like a, I mean, you probably, I think what I've heard from, and like I've worked with like people who market for $3 million businesses and people who market for, you know, $1,000 businesses. And I guess like what they've said, or like a mixture of everything I've heard is like, if you're going to post, just post consistently. So if you post Monday through Wednesday and not the rest of the week, that's fine. Just always post Monday through Wednesday then. Or if you post once a day, 5 days a week, always post once a day, 5 days a week. So then because people have a schedule for like Instagram. Like, I don't know, like some people check it at right when they wake up. Some people check it right after the breakfast or like, so then they'll get in that like mode. I don't know if you've like found, like, have you done anything like that or like, tested it
I have. So what I've been finding was like I had to get an app that like I can literally schedule my posts like to the minute. Too, because it's like I forget, like I'm human. I have like a million things going on, like running a business, like being a student, like I just have so much going on that I just forget. So I plan it, and what I was doing was I was just posting like every day, like when I remembered, and I'd be like, oh crap, it's like 10:30 at night and I haven't posted yet, so I post really quick, and then the next morning I might post at like 8:30 in the morning. So I realized that like that didn't really work, because even though I was posting every day, like you also kind of want like a consistent time. If
it's a personal page, then whatever, but for a business, it's like
you have to you gotta like, because people then like if you're posting at the same time every day, like people see that and they'll like look for your stuff at that time. So I try to post 10:30, 2:30, and 8:30. That's what I've been scheduling. So
you do 3 a day, or does that
2 to 3 a day? 2 to 3 a day. Yeah, but it will fall like in those times, the 2 to 3 a day.
And are you looking at your analytics on your page? Like, are you going by that, or?
Well, I'm just kind of going by like the fact that I know people look at their things like different times every day. Yeah. So I mean, I've looked at the analytics. I try to focus on like what posts do like what types of posts do the best.
Huge. That's huge.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, honestly, the posts that do the best, and it's kind of gonna sound funny, are like the posts of the ice cream, like not of like people.
Which you would think that most of the time, if there's a face in it, then more people will like it. But
it's really everybody just wants to see the ice cream.
Wow, yeah. I know, because like that's. No, I think I can back that up. Like when I go to your page, I'm looking at the ice cream, I think, because I want it to be some crazy ice cream, like sandwich on top of a cone or something.
Yeah, like something nuts. And I definitely post a lot of that, but just to me personally, it's important to have the people who have been following my whole journey, and like just to have like faces on my Instagram, and it's just important to me. Too. Yeah, it's, and I know they don't do the best, but it's just like that's what this is all about. Like it's about the people and like making connections, and you know, it's the whole purpose of my company is to make people happy. So I know ice cream makes people happy, but like if you see somebody smiling, like that's gonna make you happy too.
100%.
So that's like my whole base is just I want to build a space where people can come and feel welcome and comfortable and happy and, you know, excited. Like I want to give people a space in life that, you know, it brings joy to them.
And they're getting some ice cream and they're having a good time and they don't have to worry about other shit
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yeah. And it's not like this complicated thing of trying to make people happy.
No,
but
it's more,
just, like,
it's pretty simple. Like, it's
Yeah.
just get ice cream, be happy, basically, right? Like,
yeah, literally.
and it doesn't have to be, I think it's always easier to make things complicated. I think people think it's the opposite. It's really not. It's easier to, like, you know, give you every single minute detail of whatever you're doing. Like, I've found that with DJing, too, because it's like, I'm doing a party and, like, and the reason I do it is for, which I didn't know in the beginning, but like after you do it for a while, you realize that the reason you do it is because there's a 7-year-old kid that wants Post Malone on, right? And then you and his parents know how much he loves that song, so they're banking on me putting it on for him, and I put it on, and they're just like so happy, you know?
Yeah.
And so at that moment, it's not about the money, it's not about it's not about a job. It's like the same thing. You probably see it like you give that kid that ice cream cone, like. That's what that like makes their day or their week or something, you know. So
I mean,
then at that point, it's not about anything else.
No, it's not. And I had this one customer. She is the cutest little girl, and her parents come to the farmers market almost every week, and they always tell me we've been looking forward to the ice cream lady all week. Like we've had good behavior all week, so we can come see the ice cream lady, and it's just so sweet. And I remember my first day opening. So on June 8th was my grand opening at night, but it was my first time at the shops at the farm market. And at that market, somebody, like a baby had ice cream for the first time, and it was my ice cream, and it was the first day that I was open. Like, I get the chills. Like, that just makes me so happy because it's just, like, I don't know. Like, that's what it's about. Like,
it is what it's about.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You got that mindset, though. Like, you're definitely on. You understand, like, you're self-aware. You understand all aspects of it. You're not. I mean, if you start an ice cream truck to make money, it's like if you'd really do anything just to make money, you're never gonna win.
No, and you're never gonna be satisfied. And I mean, I kind of look at it like I've been saying it a lot lately. Is that like I don't think that. I mean, at least not this year. Probably not next year. Probably not for the next 5 years. I keep telling myself like I'm not going to be satisfied with the money. Just because I want to push myself. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm like some like gold digger trying to like just, you know, take everybody's money for ice cream. Like, it's just that I know that this can be big, and I don't want to stop pushing myself. Like, if I say like, okay, I'm content with that, then I stop there, and I don't want to stop anywhere really. Like, I don't really want limits on this. I just want it to like freaking go. And where I'm at, because I'm 20, like I don't have a mortgage. I don't support a family. I don't have a lot to lose per se.
Massive overhead either, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a lot of room for like risk. Like I have like a very competitive edge for everybody who I guess are my competitors. I hate saying that because I just love like all local businesses.
They're just other people in business.
Exactly. Yeah. And everybody's like, who are your competitors? And I'm like, nobody. like the other business people that I love. Like I still to this day, I mean, I have access to ice cream whenever I want. I still go to Polar Cub like all the time. Like it is my favorite place still. Like I
respect,
still...
yeah, you're like you respect the other like you realize the value of Polar Cub.
Yes.
For people who don't know, it's an ice cream shop on 22, right?
Yes.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Because you're going there with like you go there.
Yeah.
So you're like you're not like, you know, screw Polar. What competition?
I love Polar Cub since I could like walk.
They're probably like half the inspiration of like.
They are. I mean I love their ice cream, and like I would never stop. I just hate calling people my competitors. Like they're just other people who deserve to succeed in this business.
It's experiences. That's really what it is. Is they offer a different experience than you offer.
Yeah.
You offer different experience than what they offer, and every different business offers a different experience.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. If you want to take it down from like the hardcore numbers and the hardcore business shit, like it's really just, I guess, an experience.
Yeah, it is. And it's really, I mean, if you look what I've noticed is, like, if you look at all these other businesses as, like, competitors, like, once you have the word competitors in your head, you're like, okay, like, I cannot associate with them, like, they're the enemy. If you look at them like mentors, like friends, like, I want to build a relationship with them, they will help you. Like, they will be like, what you're doing is awesome. Like, these are some of the things I've learned. I mean, not everybody wants to give away their secrets, and I get that. Like, I can imagine that 20 years from now, I'll be giving away all my, like, deepest secrets and whatever from, like, learning the business. But you want to help people, because that's what this is about. You want people to succeed. And, you know, like, it's so, like, small businesses in America are, like, so important. Like, I mean, I could have a whole building. We could go hours probably. Yeah. It's literally so important to keep this country running and everything, and, you know, support local businesses. That's my little push there.
I'm also, like, one time, like, this one DJ gig I had, like, a few weeks ago, I got a huge tip, like a bigger tip than I've ever gotten before. That week, I was going to Wawa, giving the lady a 20, and I spent $11. I was going, like, what? Like, it didn't matter. It was like I was just tipping people, like, left and right. And that is the same thing. Like, if there's a small business and they have a tip jar, tip them. Like, if there's a small business and you could go a little bit farther out of your way. Listen, I'm not fucking, like, I go to ShopRite and, like, you know. So there's that. Like, not perfect, but if you can, I think just to get the message out of, like, if you can throw $1 a tip at somebody, like, whatever it is, like, more, everything's better than nothing, right? So, and supporting those people.
We call it tip karma.
Tip karma.
Like,
that's it.
Like, if you tip, you get tips. Tip karma. Yeah. So I agree with that. I think that, you know, anywhere, if you can make the decision to go to a local business, you should, because they literally, like, run the country. And it's hard to be a local business. Like, it's tough. I mean, you kind of have, like, everything against you, because I think people are more willing to, like, you know, turn down a local business than they are to turn down, like, a corporation. You know what I mean? Like, like, people are more willing to, like, talk crap about somebody who is, like, local in their town trying to make it than they are to talk crap about, like, ShopRite. We're going back to ShopRite. Well, the thing is, it feels like it doesn't matter if it's ShopRite. Yeah. It feels like, that's like a weird disconnect. I feel like there's a benefit to getting the personalized aspect of, like, walking into a local business and you know the owner and you can just, you know, and then there's also the benefit of going into ShopRite. You don't have to talk to anybody. Nobody cares about what you're doing. You just put your head down, you walk through the aisles, check out, you're done. But that's the difference in experience. Yeah, and that's why nobody talks crap about them, because there's nothing to talk crap about, because you don't talk to anybody. Yeah. And even if you do, like, I don't know. And I know people who have made a lot of money. My friend works a night shift at ShopRite. Like, he makes a good amount of money. And, like, ShopRite supports kids, and, like, they give them money for college and stuff like that. Like, that's great. Yeah, but I feel like we're, like, taking down ShopRite. I mean, that's just the example. That's just the example. I think, ShopRite, it's just an example. We love ShopRite. Yeah, I do love I'm there all the time. Like, where I live in South Jersey, it's like, I don't have anything else. Like, but, you know, shout out ShopRite. I mean, but at the same time, also shout out every local market. Yeah. Like, I know it might be $2 more or something, but, like, come on. Yeah. The thing is, people will be pissed when they're gone. Yes. But they won't do anything. You know, it's like armchair activism type shit. You know? Like, people, you can post the thing on your story about how something happened in some other country, but, like, if you're not putting your dollars or your time into it, then it does not make a difference, really, right? Yeah. So if you can just walking into the local store, like, buying buying a package, like, it all helps. And local businesses, like, seriously pay all their taxes. Like, like, we give a lot of money back to, Amazon. The government gives Amazon money. Yeah. That's how. I don't get money from the government. It's reverse taxes. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah. So I think it's important. And I think, like, you know, you kind of have to think, you have to, like, really sit down and think, like, would you rather give the local business that would, you know, sponsor your son or daughter's soccer team, you know, an extra $30 for a shirt, or would you rather go to, like, you know, who can I use? Like, TJ Maxx and get, like, a $15 shirt. Obviously, we all want to spend money, but the difference is, like, the reason it's that $30 extra is because that local business is going to give back to, like, the community, and they're going to sponsor your kids' teams, and they're going to do fundraisers for your local schools and stuff like that. Like, that's why it's extra money, because we give back, and I think that's 100%. Important to see. It's important to, when you're thinking about the price, it's important to recognize
and they
that.
care. Like, local businesses care.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have, if you have a Wawa in your town, I love Wawa.
Me too.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think and I think Wawa does do some stuff like this. Like, they do some stuff for communities and stuff. But like, is the owner of the Wawa? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just people that are kind of looking out. So they just want, they have a business. They want to make money, right? Like, and whereas a local business is usually, or like typically established because they ended up doing something that they realized other people had a need for.
Yeah.
They were just good at something. Like, they just like had a lawnmower and then went to their neighbor's house, and then their neighbor got them another lawn. And then so it just kind of like fed itself rather than just, okay, how much money can I make here in 6 years? What are the,
Yeah.
So that's like the difference is, I guess like the kind of the overarching theme of like the whole thing.
Yeah, But
yeah, small businesses build America, but small businesses also became massive businesses in America too.
Yes.
So,
and like that's my goal. So I'm not complaining about the big businesses, but it's you got to start small. And it's really cool how someone like these huge, like how Amazon started is like the coolest thing ever.
Oh, the desk
literally started out of that guy's garage. Like
he had $1 billion in 1999. And they were interviewing him. This interview is great. You should watch it. Like, everybody should watch this interview. It's so funny. And he's driving in a Honda Accord, in like a 97 Honda Accord. And the guy's like, why do you drive a Honda Accord? He's like, it's great on gas. He's just, this is Jeff Bezos, who already had, his company's worth over $1 billion at this point.
Yeah.
That's like some perspective right there.
Yeah, it is. Well, like the rich stay rich because they live like they're poor. And that's like,
and the poor stay poor because they try to live like they're
rich,
right?
Yeah.
Just saw that yesterday.
Yeah, and that's a really important like life thing to realize. Like, it's not about like, brands and stuff. It's just save your money. Like, go on vacation, see the world. Like, you don't need to buy. Like,
I've been looking into that. Or I've been just watching some podcasts on that recently of some people that are like, and I bet you can attest to this too. Of like, we've been told every wrong thing about what to do with our money. Like, we have learned money from people who aren't good at making money. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense to learn money from people who are in debt. And like,
but it does because you can kind of be like, all right, where did they go wrong? Like,
oh, true, 100%.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from people that I'm close to that have messed up, and like, and I'm messed up. Everybody has, but I think that we can like look at it differently, or I think that we should, as like you said, if you have to go on vacation, like people are like, the first thing in any money book that you get is, let's track your spending.
Yeah.
And okay, so then they're gonna say, oh, we spent $300 on lattes in the last 3 months or something. Cut that out. It's like, but what if you drinking the latte made you work so hard and made you so happy that you could have a great day at work? And it's like,
yeah, like what if that's like your little thing that like you really look forward to? Like, don't throw that away. Like, I mean, if you could care less, yeah. If it doesn't make a difference to your life and you're just doing it because whatever, then obviously get rid of it. But what's amazing to me is that like you can buy a belt for the price of a vacation to the Caribbean. Like, that blows my mind.
And we know people who have bought those belts.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I think I'd rather go like to the Bahamas.
There's a thing of, and like we kind of touched on this before, of like people, how anybody could start a business, right? And a lot of people will start a business and they'll, like I think you said, is like they'll get comfortable. And they'll realize, oh, I can buy the car I wanted since I was 6. Like, I can buy this Lexus or Acura or whatever it is, or Maserati. It doesn't matter what the car is. They buy it, and then they're like, I'm good. Instead of just driving the Honda Accord and then taking that money they would have spent and put it back in the business. Yeah. To then in 10 years have multi-million dollars. Yeah. So I think that's like, that's also another money thing, is like, you got to think about the long game.
You do. And I think like successful business owners are people who like want more, who like don't stop. And I mean, when I said before that like I'm not going to be satisfied, I didn't mean that in like a like I'm never going to be happy with like my business or anything.
I didn't take it that way. I took it of a motivation.
And that's what it is. It's like, if you're not wanting more, like you have to like see what you you're good. You have to see what you want in order to get it. Like, if you don't have like a very clear vision of what you're going for nothing. And it's like, Rachel Hollis said this the other day, like, if you shoot for nothing, you're gonna get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what you're going for, and you have to, like, see your vision. And I think that's something that's really helped me, is that before I even got a truck, I knew that I wanted a fleet of trucks. I knew that I wanted to be down the East Coast. I knew that I wanted multiple storefronts. I knew that I wanted to make my own ice cream. Like, I knew that I wanted, like, a beach house and this and that and the other thing. And I knew that I wanted, you know, when I had kids, I didn't want them to struggle. So that's what this is for. Like, that's what this is about. It's, I know what I want my future to look like. And I just kind of, like, live my life like, okay, well, it's not here yet, but it's coming.
And you have your why. That's basically your why of why
Yeah.
you're doing it. Like, I talked to this one, I interviewed this, her name's Tiffany Parker. She's like she's an Olympic athlete. She's in the Olympics. She's on the,
that's really cool.
She's insane. Like, just an insane person. And she's like, if I didn't, the whole only reason I do everything I do is because I have a why. Like, that's it. And I was like, you know what? That's not, that's real. Like, people want to put that in, like, oh, it's like some, like, hippy dippy shit or something. And it's like, no, you're just not smart enough to realize what had the power of that. Like,
yeah, the why is so important.
Yeah, and I wasn't, and I don't think any of us. Another thing that we're not taught is, like, purpose. We're not taught anything about purpose at all.
Because people think that purpose is, like, stupid, like, hippie shit, like we said, and it's not. I mean,
it's not at all.
It's kind of funny that you say that, because I was a Beachbody coach for a little bit. I mean, I still am. I love Beachbody. They're awesome, and, like, they're
that's like a training.
It's like a fitness thing.
Okay, I got it.
So I was a Zumba instructor and all that.
I see.
Yeah, so I did Beachbody, and I still do Beachbody. But they do a lot of, like, professional development. Like, they're, like, very heavy on, like, you know, constantly, like, fueling their coaches' lives with, like, you know, like, how can you be better? Like, what's, like, the professional development? And the first training I took with them, like, it was like the first week, and it was all about the why. Like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, this is, like, so dumb. Like, what? Like, this doesn't even matter. You just
skip through it.
Yeah, and everybody said, like, don't skip the why. So I pushed myself to go through, like, the entire week of, like, figuring out the why, and I watched this video, and I was like, oh my God, I get it. Because, like, right when I was doing that training, I was also, like, opening this business. So I was doing two things at once, and I was like, okay, like, I really, really want to make people happy. And, like, all of a sudden, like, figuring out the why, like, everything became clear. And I'm like, I am such an idiot for thinking that that's dumb. Like, it is the most important thing ever. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people, I mean, we're young, so a lot of people don't think that that's important. People, like, go through college, and they're like, I just want to have fun, and then I'll figure it all out later. But, like, it's like
what we're told to do, unfortunately.
It is, and that's kind of why I left college, because I was kind of at, I was at, like, a different level. And I don't mean that as, like, I was better than everybody or I was worse than everybody. I mean that in, like, I was in a different mindset, like, already. Like, I think that, like, I was honestly ready to, like, just move on, like, skip this whole part of my life, like, get me into a house, like, let me just settle down and, like, live my life. Like, I don't need any of this. So, but I think it's because I was, like, mature enough to understand that, like, I really, like, there was so much more.
You had the self-awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you realized that.
Yeah, and I really, really wanted more than, like, a party on a Friday night. And, like, looking back on it, like, sometimes I do regret, like, that I was so, like, high-strung, and, like, I wish I just had fun. But at the same time, I would not be sitting here if I wasn't, you know, as, like, anal as I am. I'm, like, 100% type A personality.
I'm pretty hard type A. I'm, like, if I'm not, I'm that more than I am anything, probably. But there's some weird things that I do that are, like, not type A at all. But, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And I go, like, I've gone to, like, so I've been at, I go to Stockton University, and so I went there for a year, because I transferred there, and I think I went to 2 parties, like, the whole time. And one of them, like, I met a ton of, like, people in fraternities and things like that, and, like, they were, like, telling me about, like, the time commitment and I was like, what? Like, what do you do? Like, it's so much, like, do you just sit around? Like, I was like, you know, like, I can't do that. Like, I can't go to a meeting if it's not about, like, business or money. Like, you know, so, like, then that's probably what you're saying, right? Is, like, these people are just, like, that works for them, and they, like, love it, and that's their life. But, like, for people like us, I feel like, or people just that have a lot of other things to do, it's, like, it's just priorities. You know?
Yeah, it is.
And it's time, because time is everything. It's everything.
It is. And I feel like I knew that, like all the majors and everything, it just like wasn't, it was not the first time, but it was probably the biggest time in my life where I didn't feel like myself. Like I was just like, yeah, like this is not me. This is not a space where I'm supposed to be. Like living in a dorm, like I was so excited for all of it. I really was. I was so excited for college, and I got there and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, you put me in a closet and it's dirty and it's hot in here and you don't have air conditioning. You don't have, like, this is ridiculous.
And that's the life you're supposed to live. And
yeah, and I just felt like...
You're supposed to get drunk every day and you're supposed to, like, or go out 3 nights a week or something and just, like, always be hungover and, like, barely make it to class. Like...
Yeah, and it just... And even, like, the classes where, like, professors were just, like, you know... nobody can pass my class, and like they would take pride in that. Like, I'm not paying for that. Like I'm here to learn. Like, I'm here to grow as a person, as all of that, and I don't need somebody to take pride in failing me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had a professor. Now, I am the type of person who like only gets A's. Like, I hate getting anything less than an A, and so college is tough for me because I'm really hard on myself. But I'm happy that I grew up that way, like being hard on myself, because it pushes me in like every aspect in life. But I had a professor tell the entire class that I failed a paper. Like, just straight up was like, yep, Gabby failed this paper. And I was like, what the hell? And that's when I realized, like, this is not for me. Like, okay, respect is another thing. Like, I'm the kind of person that, like, I don't care how old you are, like, whatever, like, respect goes both ways. So if I'm gonna respect you, you gotta respect me back.
Reputation, respect.
And
that's it.
Yeah.
Especially in business and in life.
Yeah.
Like,
and
everything.
Every single person deserves respect.
Yeah.
Like, every single person. And it's really sad when, like, I dealt with this as a business owner, when people, like, don't... this is one of the hardest things I've been through, like, owning this business for the couple months. And it is because of my age, and I think a little bit has to do with the fact that, like, I am a girl, and, like, I hate saying that, but I think it really is.
Trust me, it is.
Yeah. And I hate saying it, but I think it really is. I mean, I deal with a lot of people who, like, don't respect me at all as a business owner. I deal with a lot of people who, I mean, I went to a food truck fest, and my boyfriend was there working with me, and the one other food vendor refused to believe that I owned the business. Like, he would only talk to my boyfriend. I was giving my boyfriend free food. Like, refused to accept the fact that I was the owner. Would not talk to me about the business. And I was like, what even is this? Like, why? I don't understand people.
Makes me so mad.
It does. And, you know, a lot of people will... And my parents are the best. Like, they literally deal with this so well, because people will be like, this is such a great business you have. And my parents will be like, this is all her. Like, we help her when we can, but this is all her. And I love that my parents do that, because it's hard to watch people, like, give somebody else credit for something that you work so hard for. I mean, being where I'm at, like, I also have to know everything there is to know about ice cream. So I know, like, the science of ice cream. Like, it's 10% butterfat is what makes it ice cream. Above that is premium, and above that percentage is super premium. I only get premium and super premium because that butterfat, like, makes it really creamy, and it's the high quality mix-ins. So I was at a party, and I was explaining it to this guy who was like, oh my god, this ice cream's so good, it's so creamy, and so I started explaining it to him, and he cut me off in the middle of the sentence and started laughing at me and said, oh, how cute, she knows the science of ice cream. And listen, I'm not trying to be cute running this business. Like, I'm trying to be like a badass boss lady. Like, I am not trying to be cute. And that was just, it's hard at this age, like, because...
Well, it's hard in any, it is hard. You're right. It's hard at this age because we're not supposed to have, like,
we're not supposed to be successful yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, like, people always think I'm older than I am. So that helps me. Like, that really does help me. Cause, like, I'm talking to CEOs and they just think, like, I'm a full-time, like, I just work for an agency, and, like, they put a picture in their head of who I am, and usually, like, 90% of the time that helps me. For you, they're putting a picture in their head of you, they're thinking, okay, who really runs this?
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, that's, like, why I wanted to have you on, too, because I didn't know. Like, you're the face of the business, but I didn't know you, so I was like, yeah, like, who knows? Maybe somebody... I mean, you could say that about anybody, right? But you're 100% right where, like, people might give me the benefit of the doubt where they might not give you.
Yeah, they just really label me. Like, I feel like a lot of people think that I'm not capable of running this. And that's really, really hard because being this young and being in the position I am, like I already some days feel like I can't do this. Like, I don't need other people looking at me like, what the hell is she doing? Like, she is not capable of doing this. Like, there's no way. And, you know, some days that's like really motivating to like try to prove them wrong. But other days it's like, holy crap, like, get off my back.
Yeah.
Like, let me just do my thing. Let me run my stuff. I mean, it's tough because like nobody should be judging you like that, but they do. And my biggest fear in my business is that nobody's going to take me seriously. And I've been lucky most of the time, minus like certain comments. But I just wonder, like, I mean, and the other thing is like people, when I like get into like my boss, like when I'm a boss, like I'm not trying to be a bad boss or whatever, but like mostly my family works for me. So some days I get like, you know, like, what the hell are you doing? like let's hustle, like let's go. Yeah. So I don't plan on, like, when I have actual employees and stuff, like, I'm not going to be the kind of boss that, like, I want people to be comfortable with me. Like, I want to have fun. Yes. You have to be a leader.
My best bosses are leaders, and I've had bosses that are not leaders, and you can tell them that, and they still don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's how you know, like, and you know, since you know leadership, like, I've taken, like, so many leadership classes now. Literally taking, like, 3 leadership classes like consciously, because I wanted to like become more of a leader. You just don't even realize it until you're working for the person that's not, or until you have to be a leader and you're like, wow, I have to think of this situation completely differently as a leader or as a boss.
Like, you have to make the decision. And I like some people have like right off the bat labeled me as like mean when I'm like, you need to hustle, like you need to do this, you need to do that. And I was actually talking about, because a lot of like my teachers from like elementary school like come and support me, because, you know, you've known these people since like you were a baby, like they want to like see you succeed. So I was talking to her this weekend and she was like, you know what, like screw that, because if it was a man in your shoes, like nobody would be calling him mean. They would be calling him a boss.
You're right. You follow Gary Vee?
No.
All right, so I'll put you on him because you'll definitely like him. He's said this so many times, and I love it. They'll be like, if you're a girl and you're trying to be like assertive, you're a bitch. Like, people call you bitch. Like in the workplace, they'll be like, oh, she's just a bitch, right? If it's a guy, like, then you're like, oh, he's just the boss, you know? There's a double fucking standard.
True. Like if you watch, like even movies have all of it. Like if
that's what it is though. We like built that role up.
Yes.
Of like
if a woman's in charge, she's a bitch, and
it's gonna change now though. I think it's gonna change. It's gonna take a while. Like, don't get me wrong, it's gonna take a little while. I think we could all agree on that, because anything like that takes long. Like, that's culture. So like it's gonna. But I think I'm glad that you're doing that. You're obviously, and you're speaking out and just telling the truth, because you could just not say anything about this and then nothing would change.
Well, I honestly like wasn't gonna say anything about this today because I don't really know like the type of reactions people have.
Doesn't matter though.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
people
starting
honestly
not to care.
Like, it doesn't. I got like a comment on the 2 podcasts ago, and this girl was like, shout out to her too. I think her name's Steph or something. She's cool. I don't have any gripe with her, but she was like, oh, like, you should have let the girl talk or something. And I was like, you can try to do this. Like, you try.
Yeah.
You know, like, you try to do a podcast for an hour and a half and like have people and you know, you because I've had podcasts where like I have to save this fucking thing. Like, this shit is going down.
Well, you're supposed to like facilitate it. Like,
exactly.
You have
and
to be.
I talk a lot. Like, so this is like, that's just how it is. She just didn't know me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, there's millions of other podcasts. Just go watch.
Just go watch. Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah. And
but they don't really matter. Like, ultimately, the people the guy that laughs at you or whatever, like, ultimately they don't matter at all.
No. And
in the end, because they don't mean anything.
Yeah. And you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm not a bitch. Like, I'm a very sweet person, and I'm not trying
to
like.
Here first, folks.
Yeah, like, I'm not an asshole.
No,
but
I think
like,
that's obvious. That's why I'm doing this too, because people can see who you are.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And you know, you like have like when you're in a position of my position, your position, when you're in a position where, you know, you have to be a leader, like, you have to make decisions, and some people may like them, some people may not, but you have to stick to the decision you made regardless of the feedback it gets, because you know, nobody else has to make that decision. I mean, I have to figure out what the hell I'm doing for the winter. And I have big things coming, and I can't say anything. It's fine. Sworn to secrecy.
Come back.
Yeah, we'll come back, and we'll do like the whole once it launches and everything.
Yeah, awesome.
But it was a decision. It was a hard decision. It was a big decision, but it was a decision that I had to make without anybody else telling me what to do.
Yep.
And it's something that like my parents have been such a huge part of my business, and I am so thankful. And like, we've had like our fights about everything, and it's not easy.
It's
like,
always up and down. That's just how it is, right?
It's not easy like doing these things like with family, but they just want to see me succeed, and I'm so thankful and blessed that I have that support system. But like this decision is something that I had to make and just not tell them about, and I am so excited for it. And I was telling her before, like, I wish that I could just like come and like just good. Tell everybody about it, but I just can't. And but I'll come back and we'll talk all about it.
Come back and tell people everywhere that they can find you. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen right now, but
okay. Oh yeah, this is the website. You can like book an event from here.
Yeah, so we got everything here. We got flavors, book your events. Look, I mean, come on, folks. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like,
shout out to Chris.
You have to, if you see this picture, you just have to book automatically. I feel.
Yeah.
And then we got Facebook as well. So you're on all the socials.
Yeah,
that's on Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook. I'm kind of considering making like a YouTube channel, cause like. Do it. Yeah, because you know what? Like, most people don't open a business at 20, and I feel like I'd have so much content.
Do the document instead of create. Like, you don't have to make amazing. Like, this shit, I don't edit. I edit. I'm gonna put your name on it, and that's about the editing.
Yeah.
Right. So document what you're doing. I think that people get lost on that. They think that they have to make the most fancy content, and like they can only put out a video if it has perfect.
No, like I would just vlog, like it would be so much fun, and with like,
I'll watch it.
Because I like, thank you. I have like different people who work with me all the time, because I couldn't hire employees right away because it's just like you just can't. It's a lot. It's a big expense. So I bring like my friends and family when I have big events, and so I always have different people working for me. I always have like different views, and I think it would be so much fun to like just like vlog it all, like and
get their perspective too. And if you want to do anything long form, like let me know. That's just what I do. Like I do podcasts for a couple different companies, so it's in this one. So if you want to do anything like that, let me know. I can hook you up with any of the information that I know. So, but yeah, this has been. I think we're at like an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh my god, it feels like 5 minutes.
It feels like nothing. It feels like I know this. I've done them like 2 hours, and it's just like. I didn't even know.
That's like nuts.
The time's gone.
See, I've never gotten to talk to anybody about all this. Like my story, I mean, I tell like customers about my story, but I've really, really wanted to I really want people to know who I am. I want people to know that this is my business. So
You're
I'm
smart.
like
That's
really
huge.
thanful.
It's huge.
Like I really appreciate this.
Yeah,
like,
anytime. This is what I do. I mean, there's like now it started with I was more like philosophical or like contemplative basically on like I just wanted to talk about ideas. And then as it progressed, I realized like, no, I just need to like talk to people and let people talk. And like, even if it's not going to reach 1 million people or it's not going to reach 1,000, doesn't matter. Like, it's just like, who knows, maybe in 5 years it will. So
yeah,
but yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for
having
awesome.
Me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anytime. So, yeah, everybody, like I said, it's all right here on the screen for you. She's got Facebook, Instagram, and her website if you want to book. Yeah, Scoops on Wheels. That's it. And this has been Gabby for episode 14. I hope I'm right on that.
Thanks so much.
Anytime.